every day for a year and lose weight? You already know the answer if you've been on these live videos and the other videos here on YouTube. I'm Amanda Rose. I am an intermittent faster. So to lose 140 pounds, I ate one meal a day, which means I packed all of my daily nutrition and calories into one giant bowl, ate until I was super satisfied and happy, and then drew the line on my eating and walked away from the food. And so if you're finding us here today, you're gonna find me next week here as well at probably 9 a.m. on Tuesday. And we're gonna be talking about accountability. And I've got some questions for you on that on Tuesday. But today we're talking about eating in a giant bowl like this. And you know, I wrote the book, Half My Size with a Ridiculously Big Salad. A lot of you have it, but this one is about the cooked meals because, you know, the salad bowl is even bigger. Okay, the cooked meal. So I'm hustling this week the release of this digital book, and this is the printed version of the PDF file. So this is what I printed on my own home printer, but what people are getting this week is a PDF file. It's on sale, so thus the hustle of the week, because I want you guys to get started on this. And one of the biggest questions has been, well, is it in print yet? You guys, it's not going to be in print until sometime in 2022. And I kind of cringe at how late into 2022 it might be, just given the craziness of the print industry. And you're hearing this, you know, with all kinds of industries and distribution and all that. And the world, you know, let's hope it gets back to normal at some point, but this is not that point. Okay, so I'm gonna whip up a meal today, and let me see. I am first gonna see if I can even find my own live video. So oddly, some of you guys I think are here. Hey, is anyone here? Okay, because I am looking on YouTube right now to see if I'm even here, see if I can find myself. Oh yeah, there I am. Okay, cool. So as you guys, hey, some of you guys are here. Good. Put in some questions for me, but I'm about to whip up this dish. Hey there, Anasul is here, and Barbara and Faith. Good to see you guys. And let's see, I'm gonna whip up a meal. Beef teriyaki. And so the last 3 days I have used cauliflower as the base in this meal because that's what I had. Well, I'm gonna just break out like mad, right? And use broccoli. Okay, the book uses various vegetables. So there's green beans in here and okra and, you know, really especially any of the low carb vegetables. So, you know, like not potatoes, not sweet potatoes, but the other low carb vegetables, they're in here, zucchini's in here. So there's a lot in here, not just cauliflower of the last 3 days of live videos or broccoli. So today is broccoli though, because I have it. Okay, and you guys know that this approach, all of it starts with frozen vegetables that someone else chopped for you, or cabbage that you could get somebody to chop for you. So the idea is you can level any of this up. So I have zucchini in a box right over there that came out of the garden. I could chop it up and I could put it in this dish, but I'm going to show you how to do it with the frozen, because you know what, even on a bad day, the frozen broccoli will absolutely compete with the drive-through. And that is my goal for you guys, and for all of us, is that every day we can compete with the drive-through, even when it's a very bad day. And so we have our skillet. I wonder if you can see it. Oh yeah, see, now I can kind of watch. Okay, you can kind of see it. It's kind of hard to get all this in YouTube in my kitchen. Okay, so here's our skillet. And wait for it. Okay, this is also Smart and Final. I talked about Smart and Final yesterday, and that's one of the stores that I have easy access to, but they do really pretty well with the frozen vegetables. So it's one to look at, and the price is very good. Watch this. This is a 5-pound bag of broccoli. This is completely ridiculous. I put about a pound in one of my dishes, so let's just guesstimate on that. And all that clunking that you hear is because this is frozen. It's frozen. Someone else chopped it. this is actually probably a little bit more than a pound, but you know, the broccoli, any of the vegetables, they're very low in calories. And so this part of the framework, so this is based on the framework of the ridiculously big salad, where in the case of the raw salad, the vegetable portion is greens or lettuce. In this case, it's broccoli. And you know, you're never gonna really get into trouble with weight loss if you have more broccoli. Not really ever. In fact, it's a great strategy. It helps add that bulk, help you get to fullness. So it is what it is. I put that much in the skillet. And next I will whip up the sauce. I'm gonna make a teriyaki with this today. And let's see, the base of the teriyaki, okay, so you can use a broth. Yesterday I showed a homemade broth that I made, but here's a carton of broth that I used in, I think, Tuesday's video. This is chicken. I'm gonna go with beef on this. So normally I'd look for a beef broth, but you know what? It doesn't matter that much, really. And so I just wouldn't overly worry about some of those details. It's gonna be pretty good. You know, you wanna coordinate flavors and stuff where you can, but it's easy to make it all too complicated real quick. And why would we do that? Because what we're doing is we're trying to get in the right spirit of competing with the drive-through, and part of that getting ready happens right up here as we allow ourselves to not get too complicated. So the soy in here and some garlic powder, which I keep in a little shaker. I showed you guys. I think I have had this in every video this week. You can imagine I use my garlic shaker a lot. Some onion as well, onion powder. So notice this is not raw onion that I had to chop, because on days when I'm not feeling well, it's okay. It is okay to use the onion powder. I mean, you don't even have to use the onion powder. Just keep it at salt and pepper, maybe a little garlic powder. I do recommend a little shaker. Okay, this is just like a little thrift store, like vintage shaker, and I put garlic on it so that the family doesn't get confused about what it is. And let's see, this also calls for some cooking oil. So I'm gonna put some cooking oil in here, but someone was asking yesterday about types of cooking oil. So this is the high-end recommendation is an avocado oil. But the budget recommendation, and if you don't want a flavor in the oil, which a lot of times in these you're not going to want a strong flavor of like an extra virgin olive oil, which would be nice and it's very healthy, but it has its own flavor. Avocado oil doesn't really have a flavor, but it is a more expensive oil. So in the budget category, my vote is for the light olive oil, and it's so that it doesn't have the flavor. Costco's a pretty good place for it. With olive oils, they get concerned that something's fake, that it's not really olive oil, and Costco has a pretty decent reputation, you know, and price. So it's a good kind of risk kind of thing. So, and that's it. So I'm gonna put this on the stove. Oh wait, it needs the protein because I am using beef from my freezer. So this is beef that I apparently cooked a very long time ago, because it even has the icicles in it. And you guys use your protein before it reaches the icicle stage, or like use a vacuum packed sealer. So this obviously had a lot of air in it. I don't know if you guys can see, but there's ice in there, ice. Okay, so I'm gonna try to take the beef out without the ice, because you guys do know that freezer burned ice will add flavor to your dish that you probably don't want. So I'm gonna put this is frozen, and I'm gonna just put it on top, because again, this is like one of those, just keep it simple, real simple. And so I used about half of that bag. I'm gonna put this on the stove right now. I'll be right back. And this is gonna I'm gonna put it on medium, and it will cook up enough over this time that we talk. Okay, so it's on the stove now, cooking. By the time we finish chatting, I will be ready to eat it. And so I look forward to that. So now is our time to chat. Let me see if I have anything else here I wanted to tell you about. A few things are out. This can be our symbol of our cooking dish right now. So you guys, I'm gonna scroll. I've got my tablet here and I can scroll through and look at your questions. And so let's see, good morning everybody. Okay, you guys, awesome, yeah. And good to see you guys again. And Faith had chili over cauliflower, no beans. Yeah. Oh yeah, because then there's one of the recipes in here is the flavor of chili. It's a pureed soup, actually. Gosh, it's amazing. It's really, really great in bringing in those flavors. And there's something about the soup, when it, depending on how, I mean, soup is great because there's a lot of different ways you can do it. But pureed, like when you really want that comfort, there's something about it. And so the pureed chili in here, it's not a chili, it's not chili beans. The base, I think, is cauliflower in that case too, but it's the spices and the seasonings, and it has ground beef in it, I believe, in the specific recipe that's in here. Whew, my gosh, it's great. It's really, really great. Hey, Liz. Hey there. So Liz is in Fresno, and we had a couple people yesterday or Tuesday from Fresno, Merced. So we have a little cluster in the Fresno area, and definitely in the Visalia area. I don't know if you guys realize, the locals here, that I am not too far from Visalia. So I live in the Giant Sequoia National Monument in the very southern edge of the Sequoia National Forest. So just due east of Delano and Porterville. So a little southeast of Porterville, northeast of Bakersfield, at 3,500 feet elevation in the Giant Sequoia National Monument. Yeah, we actually live in the monument, in private land within the boundaries of the monument. So kind of cool, unusual little detail. Let's see. Yes, did you notice my precise measurements? But you know what? That is exactly what I encourage in this book, is that you get to the stage of just like, find a few favorites, just a few, even one, okay? And keep the stuff around, pantry, freezer, so that you're always ready. You wake up on that bad day, you're ready. And you've already engaged in that self-talk that, wow, if tomorrow's a bad day, I'm ready. And you wake up, you're ready. That's your intention of eating that way. And so that is, because we see comments in the group all the time about, falling off the wagon and, oh, I don't know why I keep doing this. Well, that's why, because you're not prepared. You're not prepared literally with the supplies, but also right up here. That self-talk is so, so important. That intention is very, very important. And actually, so we'll be talking next week. So I'm going to come back here live. What did I say at the beginning of this? I think it's Tuesday, coming here live, and maybe Wednesday on Facebook. I'll have to stay tuned for a schedule. But we're going to be talking about accountability, because we're working on an accountability plan, the moderators and I. And so I want to get some feedback from you guys and some suggestions. So anyway, but certainly a big part of this is that if we are prepared for success, in terms of the pantry, in terms of the freezer, I mean, that's everything. But I feel like the biggest preparation we're doing for success is right up here in engaging in that self-talk, that is what that pantry stash is for. That's what it's for. It's competing with the drive-through. You're practicing, you're ready to do it. And you tell yourself, this is me getting ready to do it. You wake up, it's a bad day, you're ready. And you've already told yourself. That is important. It's all about the self-talk. All about it. Okay. Georgia needs to buy more veggies. Yeah, and maybe keep some in your freezer. So this 5-pound bag of broccoli, it's amazing. So really, yeah, it will not, win any awards for like gourmet or any of this. But you know what? If it keeps you on if it helps you meet your long-term goals, lets you get out and live, maybe it should win some awards, right? Or maybe we've all been thinking about all this all wrong. So anyway, absolutely, things like this, if you've got room in the freezer at all for a giant 5-pound bag of broccoli, I mean, and the price, come on, for basically 5 meals, it's amazing, amazing. Okay, looking for your questions. And hey, Jane. So yeah, Jane, you should get your own YouTube account so we know you're not Adam. All right, let's see. And Tasha has given up soda. Yeah, so I gave up soda. I was such a big Diet Pepsi drinker until, it's been a long time, but it was a big deal to give it up. I'm going to say it was 1997 because it was the year that I moved from Indiana University. We moved to Michigan and we were there for about 9 months. And if anybody's in a big move, this is your time and this is your moment, because a friend of mine said to me, you know, Amanda, when you move, that's when you can make a lot of changes in your life, because so much is changing anyway. It's like you almost don't notice that something else is changing. And so I thought about how much Diet Pepsi I was drinking. I mean, a lot, truly, truly a lot. And, you know, there's, you know, sort of controversy. How unhealthy is it? I don't think anyone thinks Diet Pepsi's healthy, but how unhealthy is it? But the amount I was drinking, I can't imagine there's any universe where it was healthy. And so I thought a lot about how I was going to give it up. And I made a rule for myself. And if you guys know me and follow me, I make a lot of rules for myself. And in the Cooked RBS course and in the RBS course, the digital video courses that are on the website, I talk about rules surrounding these different meals. Well, rules. When I moved, I made a rule that, because I was afraid to give up Diet Pepsi entirely. Like, I didn't feel mentally ready to just completely give it up. And so my rule was I would not drink Diet Pepsi in the state of Michigan. We were moving to Michigan, and that allowed me to have Diet Pepsi when I came home to California, or we otherwise went on vacation somewhere else. And there's other stories behind that, but it did really break me of like that daily habit in a way that made me feel like, oh, I can still have it in my life. And the reality is, once I broke it enough, then I didn't really value it, and I just didn't bring it back in, even on vacation. So that was it for me, 1997. But it's very hard to give up. The company Zevia has a stevia sweetened soda, and they have a cola. But for hardcore Diet Pepsi or Diet Coke drinkers, I feel like Zevia isn't going to get you there flavor-wise, because you're going to be wanting that Coke or that Pepsi, and so it's probably best to just veer in a whole different direction. Just cut the tie and go somewhere else. Though now I do drink the Zevia Cola because it's been a long, long time since I've had the Diet Pepsi. So let's see, just looking for your questions. And yeah, the unhealthy amounts. Tasha, you know what, you guys, we all have unhealthy amounts of a lot of things. It's the truth. And so, and it is so much easier to just cut it. But so good for you, Tasha, good for you. The artificial sweeteners, there's questions about how that might affect our weight loss. People have to kind of fool around with that and see how it's affecting them in terms of affecting maybe your insulin and that sort of thing. But what we do know is that in a lot of us, it makes us really want to eat more. And so there's that effect. And so we struggle because of that. And that's more of a psychology thing. So, and we're all kind of different with that. So you have to look at that. But you know what? Good for you, Tasha, because yeah, quantity, I understand. I do understand that. Absolutely. Let's see. And yeah, so Liz talking about like letting go of some of the need to like measure exactly in terms of weight loss and the framework. Some of this you might need to measure exactly. So it is very easy to convince yourself that the whole meal is on point, when in fact it might be 3,000 calories because you put all kinds of great stuff on there, like a bunch of cream or whatever else. So you really have to look at the whole meal. But once you find your groove with that and you find the foods that may be causing the calorie creep or whatever it is, then you can kind of, keep those in check. But not really worrying too much, certainly about things like the garlic powder, some of those things that just and and especially that you have to go to the farmer's market to buy the thing and chop it up in your kitchen or whatever. And here I am giving y'all permission to get the 5-pound bag of frozen broccoli that someone else harvested and washed and cut for you and froze it for you. And now you can pull it right out of your freezer and put it in your skillet just like I did. And the batch cooking of protein, so I added this beef to the other half of this beef to the dish. I just suggest that you all use your beef long before I did. This has got to be a year old based on like all the little freezer ice in here. So you want to use it a little earlier than that. But see, even here, I know it's not going to be terrible. It'll be fine. It would be better to eat it sooner. It would be better to freeze it in something sealed, like, you know, the sealed, what are those called, like Food Saver or something like that. But in fact, this is what I have, and this is what I'm going to eat, and it'll be just fine. It'll be good. It'll be good. Let's see. And okay, yeah, La Croix, the other carbonated waters help with the Sprite, absolutely. And so the other thing about some of the carbonated drinks, especially the stuff that doesn't have the artificials in it, the artificial sweeteners, that helps bring you to fullness faster. So you could have a meal like this, you could top it off with something like that Zevia or that La Croix, and it might taste a little bit like dessert, you know, and it fills you up. You draw the line and walk away. Do it. Okay. And Jackie is saying she doesn't measure most stuff, but I do always measure cheese because I can eat a crazy amount of cheese if I'm not careful. Same with the nuts and seeds. Exactly, Jackie. I very often measure those things, or even if not exactly in a measuring cup, like I know what a quarter cup looks like, and so I might scoop it out mindfully, because you know it's so easy just to pour stuff in. I mean, wouldn't we like to have as much as we wanted in there? If you need to lose weight, especially if you need, you know, a really strong weight loss, you probably need to be looking at those bigger offenders. And the bigger offenders, it's going to be different for all of us, but like some of us are more in the, you know, nut crazy family than others. And I could eat 5,000 calories of nuts, especially if I were eating throughout the day. I could just keep eating, and it would be great. And then I would weigh 280 pounds again. So just being real, even though, I mean, pistachios are healthy, for instance, very healthy, and I could get fat on pistachios. But I do eat them. So it's a matter of finding the balance with each of these ingredients. Let's see. Oh, Martha, oh my goodness. So carpal tunnel surgery last week and chopping has been an adventure. Well, Martha, I am glad we're talking about this week, since this required zero chopping. And mostly, though, you'd have to shake, you know, the salt and pepper. You could, you know, dole it out with a measuring spoon. So, but I hope you recover well. I'm glad you're on the other side of surgery. So that's very good. Let's see. And absolutely, Tasha. So it's all so Tasha's saying she's even, it sounds like maybe you're saying that you are having a 2-meal model. So a lot of us have the 1-meal model. And if what you're saying, Tasha, is that you feel like, so you're doing 2 meals, and you're saying that's going to be better than going back to where you were. Absolutely, you guys. It is so common in weight loss mindset. I don't know why we do this, but I mean, I did it for a long time. Why is it that we try this thing, and then if we don't do it perfectly, we just go back to where we were? Now, we can't do that. So try this. If something about it doesn't work, just, as I say, iterate, do something a little different, you know, modify it so that it works for you. And so Tasha, if for instance you said, wow, I can't do 1 meal, but I can do 2, and then just watch what those 2 meals are. And that is far, 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 far superior to what got you here. And so absolutely, there are lots of adaptations, and the 2-meal model is a really great model. The risk of it, and so this is something people need to be aware of, is as we do the different adaptations, I'll just talk about like which, you know, what are the problems with one versus the other. With the 2-meal, I mean, the great thing is you get to eat twice. And that's also the negative, because in between those two meals, you're going to be thinking about food, and you're very possibly going to want a snack. I mean, I do. That's my own mindset. And so I'm thinking about food in those hours. And I find it easier to tighten things up a little bit, get the eating done, and walk away. So that's the benefit of more of a one meal approach. But if you have found your groove with that two meal, do it. My goodness, my husband has really found the two meal model to be very straightforward. It's worked very, very well for him. And when he's tried the one meal, he lost more weight more quickly, but then he wasn't really finding a good groove for maintenance, because then he went, from one meal to sort of back what he was doing. But as he practiced that two meal model, that then took him better into maintenance, because it really trained him in how he was going to eat. So in his case, it was actually better to lose on the two meal model. Okay. But he also doesn't maybe have quite the snacking issues that I might have. So, we all have to find what's going to work for us, and look to that long game, what is the maintenance plan going to be? And so what you're doing is you're finding your groove now in the weight loss. And hopefully then that groove is like the groove that you're adapting, taking into your heart, working into your lifestyle, and simply modifying it in maintenance. And so not just like tossing it out and going back to what was, because we do know that doesn't work. Okay, because we've all tried that many times. All right. And let's see, Lisa's asking, where do I find your book? So the book that I'm talking about today is digital only now, and it is half my size with soups, skillets, and sautés. And it happens to be, a link to it is in the description of this video. So you can find that. But I know a lot of people watching here today have it. So that's awesome, you guys. Awesome, awesome. And yeah, Tasha says, oops, I've been justifying I can add as much good stuff to my ridiculously big salad. Yeah, so Tasha, get one of the books. I mean, anybody who's leaning on this framework, get a book. And this one is on sale this week. And really learn the framework and learn what some of these issues are so that you can adapt it. Some people can take the 3-day challenge. So if you're new, we have a 3-day challenge on the website where it's a 3-day menu, and it exposes you to this meal framework. And some people take that and just sail with it. And it's a free email sequence. So it really exposes you to that. It gives you a sense of whether it's something you even want to try to do anymore. And some people just really go out, into the sunset with it, which is great. But I see a lot of people who then come into the group 6 months later and, stalled, and then they get the book, and then they say, oh, wow, I didn't realize that thing. And so it's really laid out in the book. And the idea of going 6 months, I mean, 6 months of your life, and what stood in the way was more information and a little bit more maybe focus and a little more study. Gosh, just get a book if you're really leaning on one of these. If you found your groove, if you're good, all that, keep doing it. Like truly, whatever it is, if you are in a groove, I wouldn't change that at all. If you're not meeting your goals and you're trying to implement one of these types of meals, then I would get a book. I would. I wouldn't, it's laid out. It's in a lot more detail. There's the recipes, a lot of recipes that you can follow, and that repetition is going to help reinforce some of these principles too. So that said, I mean, some people eat the 3-day challenge recipes, daily for a long time. And so there are the recipes there too. Let's see. And Tasha, I had a wake-up call. My doctor said I had severely high levels of cholesterol. Okay. So yeah, this and very vegetable heavy, low carb way of eating is, the doctors tend to love this. So Tasha, we look forward to your updates. And it definitely takes some of those moments with the doctors that really get us started. And so I look forward to your check-ins and your reports. Let's see. And Robin is asking about the digital psychology course. So we had, and let's see, and has all that info been transferred into the cooked RBS book, or where can I find it? So just as a little like history on our digital content. So for about the last year, from August of 2020, we had 4 different learning modules, and 2 of them were in development. So they were only, I sold them as part of a bundle, and they were in beta. And one of those is the Cooked RBS module, which included this book. So anyone who bought that bundle has access to the digital version of this and to the related video course. But those are now out of beta and available. But the thing that I haven't released is the psychology course. What I've done is I've packed a lot of psychology into this book, into the related companion video course, psychology as it relates to the cooked meal dishes. The same with the ridiculously big salad. Basically, I put more psychology in that. And so as people come in and they're working on learning about the eating, that they are also getting psychology content as it relates to that meal type. But actually, there is a lot of psychology content in that module that is not released yet. Look for it maybe in various ways. I'm not sure that I've considered just kind of releasing it on its own as it is, or potentially breaking it up into different categories, because it ended up being far more sort of complex and had more various topics that probably need even deeper exploration and structures. So I'm still sitting on that. So anyway, that's why you haven't found it, because I've restructured all this. And basically there's now the cooked RBS, this one. So this one we're talking about today. And then there's the ridiculously big salad books and courses. There's a jumpstart book, and lots of video content in each of those courses. The psychology, wait for it. And also, we are going to be increasingly talking about accountability. We want to be able to provide some accountability structures for people as we've gotten feedback about what people need more of. I mean, we all kind of need accountability, and we all have had to scrounge and look for it ourselves. And so we're going to be talking about that a little bit more. So look for that as well. We'll talk about it next week here, and more in the group as we move forward. So you know what? Let me check our dish, but I think I'm going to need a fork to just check for doneness, because it smells pretty good. Yeah, and actually this is pretty good. Boy, it smells great. Whew. Okay, so nice steamy hot dish. And this, though I wasn't really watching it, it's it's on the verge of slightly drying out. So you want to kind of watch that. And you know what, it's going to be really good. So it's not going to be saucy, but all the flavors of the broth mixture, the sauce, are now integrated into that. And I will have this. The recipe calls for, like a handful of peanuts as well. So I'll probably add that when I eat this. But let me see what other questions you guys have. Let me look at your questions. Okay, so Tasha, and you have a book. Yes, okay, great. Tasha, get with the book. I'm assuming you have the ridiculously big salad book. Or this, either one, but in the they both have the framework section. That's what you're looking for. The ridiculously big salad book, it's part 2 of the book, the beginning of that, which is called the RBS Maker's Toolkit. Go through the framework. I would really encourage you to, make your meal as you would normally make it, but then really compare it against what I describe in that framework, and analyze it and think about, but definitely look at the things that you essentially could be overeating. And I talk about the 4 layers of the salad or of this dish. The first being the vegetable, the second being, in this case, the sauce. In the salad, it's the dressing. The third is the protein. And then there's the fourth layer, which is stuff that you would add for added flavor and texture. That is the part where a lot of us get in trouble. So I direct you to the fourth layer, Tasha, and read that part of the book and look at what your own implementation and think about what you're doing. Okay, let's see. And, oh, so you're friends with Betty Joe, okay. And so Tasha likes that I didn't start this to be famous. I mean, truly. Now, so, you know, some people are seeking fame and some people are hiding from it. And so I would like to hide from any kind of, you know, anything. So I definitely, yeah, if you know my story, there's a series of live videos here on YouTube where I talk about the very unexpected sequence of events that led us to this very state, and how basically I was out in the spring of 2018 talking about my weight loss and did some videos here on Facebook, and you can listen to the whole backstory because it's unusual and it's unexpected, and yeah, so for sure. Yeah, so let's see. Yeah, it's been my goal, Tasha, this is why I like the 3-day challenge is it describes the framework. Like there's no secret in, you know, in the books. The books just do a deep dive, but the 3-day challenge, it's free. And I do get emails from people saying that they're on a budget, that they can't afford anything else. So what are they going to do? And I say, well, you can just do what, you know, do the 3-day challenge. And budget wise, this eating can be done on food stamps. And that was very important to me. And so we do have people doing that. It is important to me that we have a platform that will allow for that if that's where people are and that's what they need to do. And they can just scrounge their way through it. Those are like some of my favorite success cases, by the way. I have great respect for scrounging and just doing what you have to do. And so what we're kind of in a phase now of continuing to provide those resources for people, which have, by the way, gotten kind of costly, and I'm not sure I would have been brave enough to do any of this 3 years ago, but balancing that against some of these paid resources. And so that's why, you know, there's a book for people who do want more help, and there's a 6-week plan in this, and there's recipes and stuff. But you guys, this is day 2 of the 3-day challenge. The meal framework is there for anybody who wants it. And there are no secrets here. I mean, I don't think, you know, that like you can use shrimp for, you know, your protein. I don't consider that a secret. Anyway, it's just a way to help you learn it, you know, deeper, and for people who want those resources. And so we're really working now also on providing some accountability resources for people. And that too, that's something that we have not been able to provide in the way that we've wanted to, but we will be adding that. But it's something that, you know, can also be scrounged. In any case, let's see. Looking for, okay, Martha. And Martha, you do this on food stamps. Okay, so Martha, that, you know what? That is great. We should have some more. I keep meaning to have some stuff on the website that really provide this. Jackie Patty has done an analysis of this, and I do know, I mean, I'm a cheap and frugal person. I could definitely eat this way on food stamps, and I'm very grateful that I have a bigger budget and can sometimes go over budget. But you can see, I mean, this with my 5 pounds of frozen broccoli from Smart and Final. And I don't know where I got this beef 1 year ago, but more than likely it was at least on sale somewhere. So this probably is a meal that I might even be doing on a food stamp budget today if I priced it out. So, okay, well, Martha, I'm really glad you're here, and that's awesome. It is a very simple way of eating. It's naturally inexpensive. I love it. I love it, you guys. And you can level up any of these resources or any of these ingredients. So as I mentioned, I mean, this is a great example here in this dish. Avocado oil. This is a higher end avocado oil versus Costco's light olive oil. And so you could use this as a cooking oil. If that's in your budget, you can level up to this. You can always level up any of this stuff. But you know what? You're going to have great success wherever you are with whatever budget it is, because this is very amenable to very low budget eating. What a world. What a world we are in. I love it. Okay. And let's see. Yeah, Jackie's saying search the group, the Facebook group, and you can find like the RBS on food stamps. Yep. Okay. So you guys, any other questions? If not, I'm ready to eat. I'm ready to eat. It is now 9:40 here in California, and people ask me all the time, what time of day do I eat? I really do. I set these videos up so that I would be eating around the time I would normally eat. And so I'm flexible. Some days I might eat earlier, some days I might eat later, and it just depends on what's going on for the day. I allow myself that flexibility because ultimately with all of this, it's kind of like we need to allow ourselves, give ourselves permission to keep these meals as simple as possible on days when we're not feeling well, and even on days when we are, and we want to go out and spend our time being awesome rather than cooking. That's okay. Go do it. That's the long game strategy. And so allow yourself the flexibility, essentially. Let's see. And Tammy, oh, you like the pink. All right. And Tammy is getting ready to batch cook her protein. And it's because it's a good day. Awesome, Tammy. And so Tammy, I was showing people this beef that I pulled out of my freezer. So I batch cook and then I freeze. And this was like a double batch of beef, considering what I typically put in a dish like this. But mine's like slightly freezer burnt because it was like in the bottom. And it's got to be at least a year old. So may all of the rest of you not have that happen. But we all do. And I still eat it. I still eat it. Okay. Debbie put this on her TV. Good for you, Debbie, because you know what? I don't even know how to get YouTube onto the TV, but I should work on that. I must be really pixelated, especially if you have a big TV. Now, if you have like what I had in 1992, which was like the little black and white, maybe it's about, as big as, a lot of tablets these days. Actually, I think my tablet might be bigger than the television that I had in my dorm in 1990. That's my guess. So let's see. And just looking, and Tasha, the most expensive thing I buy is my cheese, and I used canned tomatoes to save money and refrigerate them. Okay, yeah, good. Absolutely, you guys. So it is absolutely manageable on a budget. I'm just, what a world we're in. Do you guys realize, I'm in Tulare County in California, which is one of the poorest counties in California. And, people think like the stereotype of California is that it's all rich. Well, there are parts of California that are very poor. And this county is one of them. We have the highest rate of obesity in the state and the highest rate of diabetes. We compete with another county for being the most impoverished. So I'm very proud that from right here in California's capital of obesity and diabetes and poverty, that we have, started this movement, and in a movement that can be done on food stamps. That makes me very proud. That makes me very proud. So I'm glad you guys are here and talking about this and representing. That's awesome. And Jackie's watching on a TV monitor. That's awesome. Okay. And let's see. And yeah, so you guys are all like encouraging us to get with this on the television. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll put Alistair in charge of learning how to do it and teaching me, or just doing it for me. Hey mom, it's on. Go sit there and watch. I should do that. So he's at school today, which Anasul might be at school today too, I wonder. Okay, so you guys, I'm gonna eat. And I'm gonna talk to you later. Let's see. And Barbara, thank you. Debbie, Debbie says, I'd just like to share with anyone. This way of eating works. Debbie is down more than 52 pounds since you began on January 31st. That's awesome, Debbie. Yes, and you'll find Debbie in the group. So anyone who's new, so our community is in a Facebook group called Eat Like a Bear Stories. So you can find Debbie there and Debbie's story and her updates. And Jane is technically challenged. And in maintenance, but doing trial and error. Yeah, you know what? Just stay focused on it and work and you know, iterate through maintenance also. Okay, it's worth it, right? I mean, the idea that we can then maintain, and wow, what a world! What a great, great, great world. Okay, so yeah, find the group, you guys, if you haven't. If you're just here on YouTube, Facebook group, Eat Like a Bear Stories, and Martha is down 57 pounds since June 1st. Martha. Wait, June, July, August. You go, Martha. Just grind, grind, grind all the way to the finish line. And everybody who's like now jealous of Martha, you know, it depends on your starting weight. It depends on your health situation. There's a lot of things that affect how quickly you're going to lose. And of course, what you're specifically eating and how maybe more strict you are with like the model of food. And in the book, you can learn the framework and kind of ratchet it up, down, or whatever. But compare your own results to yourself, okay? But gosh, Martha, how amazing. How flippin' amazing. Congratulations. That is so awesome. Wow. Okay. And so, and Leah, crock pot broth. Yes, the crock pot is a great place for broth. But if you guys have adopted the Instant Pot, it took me a long time to actually delve into that and end up with another appliance in my kitchen. It's really good for broth too, because you can do it in about 2.5 hours, one batch. It's amazing, kind of like a miracle. And let's see. So yeah, hey, you guys, scrounging, I love it. So eclectic, who are you in Facebook, eclectic? But anyway, finding sale chicken breast and, oh, at Walmart. Okay, good, 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 good. All right. And Tasha, your first week you lost 15 pounds. Isn't that amazing? But yeah, you gotta really work on the consistency because you got to get to the finish line, Tasha. I'm telling you, because life is amazing at the finish line. And that consistency is training yourself. That's going to become a maintenance success factor. So dial in and work on the consistency point. And this is why I discuss the good days and bad days in this book, and I'm more explicit about that strategy, is we really do have to develop a mindset of consistency, and we really have to recognize that it is hard. I mean, it's absolutely hard on many, many days. It is. Things happen. I mean, in the world right now, for goodness sakes, there's a lot of bad day potential out there. And so if you're essentially creating structures for yourself where, and setting up your own internal intentions and expectations for yourself about how you're going to behave through those bad times, on those bad days, that is going to really help push you through to the finish line, and it takes you into maintenance. It truly does. Absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to see you guys tomorrow, same time, but in Facebook. And then I will see you again. Stay tuned for the schedule, but probably Tuesday here at 9 a.m. and probably Wednesday, 9 a.m. on Facebook. And we're going to be talking those 2 days about accountability because I'm going to be getting your feedback on some stuff. So I will see you there. And until then, you guys, you take care. I hope it's a good day for each and every one of you. And should a bad day come along, I hope that you are getting prepared for it and that you can just push through and end up out living life. You're going to be too busy to even check in here on YouTube because you're going to be out being so awesome. And that is my goal for all of you. And I see, let's see, Michelle has made a comment. So let me look real quick. Okay, and Eclectic is working on pictures for your story. That's awesome. And yeah, Michelle, just in time for hot fall meals. Yeah, boy, I might have put this off forever too, trying to get this book out. It's been a long time in process. Okay, so I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow on Facebook, and next week, probably Tuesday right here, same time, and Wednesday on Facebook next week. So I'm gonna see if I can turn this off